Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Fail PG. Tonight we have with us Mr. Surge and Ross the Boss, and I am the Mighty Mage. The old goat is being an old goat and will join us another time. So tonight we have another Ronnie-centric episode coming your way. I hope you're ready for the disaster that will surely ensue. Gentlemen, are you ready for the carnage?
Did we say carnage? Yes.
Carnage, baby, carnage!
Carnage.
Now, when you say carnage, do you mean like carnage as in Spider-Man carnage? Or do you mean carnage as in Jason's a carny carnage?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. And only wrestling fans are probably going to get that carny mark.
Pretty much.
Well,
Ain't that right, Rhodes?
when last we left off, dear poor Ronnie had booked herself passage on a rather sleazy, scumming-looking boat bound for Kish to go and get some materials for her special armor order and maybe do a little bit of other digging around while she's up there. And having made those arrangements, went off to get a good night's rest while the boys are having their silly adventure with sea serpents and ships and crazy assassin hordes chasing them.
And apparently parked right outside around the corner.
Yeah, they're a couple miles upriver from Lagash. So, Ronnie, you awake to the sounds of wagon wheels on the other side of the gate, birds chirping on the breeze. It's a little chilly this morning, but otherwise seems like a nice, pleasant, otherwise unremarkable day in Lagash.
Just the type of day I like. And I just got finished resetting my life points since I have just had my long rest. So
Yes, indeed.
we
And
are.
while you're at that,
Uh-huh.
roll me 100 side for shits and giggles.
Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
You'll be fine.
Wait. What is this? Is there an intruder in our space?
Yeah, I can't stay for long. I'm just saying hi to everybody.
Hey.
There he is, the old goat himself.
So to catch you guys up, the reason why he's not here and is not on film currently, he's actually today's his birthday. It is November the 3rd today, right?
Correct.
Yes. So happy birthday.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
By the time this video comes out, it'll probably be like mid-December.
Yeah, if we're lucky. If we're lucky.
So sorry in advance, but happy birthday. Enjoy your dinner. All the gluten-free that they're feeding you.
My mom cooked this time. No way.
Uh-huh. There you go.
Until he finds out that his sister's got his mom to go so far down that rabbit hole that she's cooking gluten-free too.
We sent her to take errands. She wasn't in the kitchen at all. I made sure. I was like, "Nah, you doing your stuff."
Smart.
Smart.
Evil, smart.
Hey, well, you know what? After the last year's fiasco where she made him a gluten-free cake and fed it to him, and he didn't know the difference. It was probably the right thing to do.
Yeah, I'm like, "No, what are you doing?" I'm like, wait. I could tell it was safe because she didn't touch half of it. I'm like, "Yeah, this food is like."
Oh, wait. She didn't touch only half of it.
Well,
what about the other half?
Well, she eats meat. Meat is technically it's not, but she thinks meat is gluten free. So, because they eat a lot of cows eat wheat. So I don't know if that counts.
It does. Otherwise, they wouldn't be trying to make gluten-free meat in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, there's grass-fed beef, but that's expensive.
I mean, to be fair, people go and label things like table salt as gluten-free.
Yeah, it's stupid and eye-rolling.
So,
you got a point.
She don't eat Chinese food because it has soy and it has like wheat as like a base ingredient, some of them. So she's like, does this have like gluten-free soy sauce? I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm sorry I asked. Sorry.
And
all
to be
all the
clear
people
for
in the
everybody
shop just
online, like we're not dissing the people who have like actual legitimate gluten allergies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
we're
is more about the hype surrounding gluten-free stuff.
Yep, the hype. Yeah, exactly what it is. She's like, I break out when I eat gluten. You sure?
you've been eating gluten for years. Shut up.
Yeah, no, right? You've been eating it since a kid. I'm like,
Like, I've always known as a kid I break out from soda. I just didn't stop drinking soda because I was a dumb kid. Now I'm older. I don't want to break out
Same
anymore,
here.
so I stopped drinking soda.
she diagnosed my nephew as one. I'm like, what do you mean? He's too young. Man, you making shit up.
Yeah, really. But
Oh crap!
Well, it's nice of you to swing by, Mr. Goat.
Yeah,
We
I know,
were just
right?
talking smack about you.
Oh man, how kind of you guys. Hey man,
don't worry, I only threw a little bit of dirt on your name this time.
I bought myself a birthday present.
Oh.
I don't know if I want to know about it on this recording. I think we'll wait until next recording for him to unveil it.
No, I know Christian's gonna judge me. I bought I bought those the Sony M4H1000 M something 4, and those are those top of line Bluetooth headsets. It was $250, and I don't regret it either.
He don't regret it.
Christian's like, what are you doing?
If you can see my face right now, which I'm sure you can,
I can.
then you would know that this is about to go into a whole thing where I go, hey, Boss Ross, would you ever spend that much money on some freaking headsets?
Nope.
Especially shit Bluetooth ones?
Actually, it's 5.2.
Sony,
They sound
man.
pretty good.
I don't want to hear that from you.
Hey,
Hey, Mighty Mage, would you spend that much on some Bluetooth headsets?
Probably not, but you know, I was thinking about it earlier this year, so you can see I'm going without the headsets today. So
It's audiophile approved. I've been reading reviews about it for a whole year, and they're Sony.
and I'm not smart enough to be able to tell the difference between cheap headsets like this and audiophile headsets. So you know,
basically, audiophile headsets does not.
All of like $20 to $50 right here.
Yeah.
Works perfectly fine. Has an 8-hour fucking charge. Does what I need it to do.
My
End of
PC
story.
headset is almost $300. Well, it's based with taxes $300, but like my PC, the one I'm talking to right now.
He's talking about his NASA computer.
Yeah, he's got NASA over there, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to talk about that though.
But
Pretty sure Mikey's been tracking it.
But
you know,
yeah, I know, it's kind of excessive. But the difference with audiophile headsets, you could tell the difference between low, middle, and high, and it doesn't sacrifice anything. Usually, it's always a trade-off. It's that's good mids, but the treble's kind of and the bass is low, or the bass blares, but the mids are good, but the highs are trash, or the highs are good, but the mids are hidden between the highs and the bass. It's like they don't. It's like it doesn't sacrifice anything.
Well, while we're not going to sit here and make this all about your freaking present, I will say this. Leave a comment in the comment section below and tell us exactly how much of a pleb I am, because I refuse to spend that kind of money on headsets regardless.
No, not really.
And
That's kind of normal.
or you can do like me and you can blast Goat for spending money on something that useless when he could have used that money to, I don't know, upgrade his computer, got a PS5 or something like that. Yeah.
My computer's already upgraded. Mikey knows. I've been through that.
And Mr. NASA over here.
I fried my computer and I just went all out. I told you about that.
Yeah, you did, but I just wanted you to be able to tell the story on the recording while I was here. It was all a setup.
Equipment puts the rest of ours to shame.
Basically, I did some dumb crap, and I was changing the computer part, and I was doing it on the carpet with no sneakers on, and static electricity. I know.
Like a true nub.
And I knew it was wrong. I was like, I'll take that chance. Because I did in the past before, it didn't work. But it's like driving without a seatbelt. Sure, you might get away with it now, but
And how much did that static shock cost you, Goat?
Let's see. Only, I think it fried my motherboard and my video card.
So,
Trying to launch
so
around.
video card cost you about 800. The most likely,
No,
you.
well, the new one, but it because what happened was not my new one. It fried my old one. When I was taking it out, I think I fried it. Because good thing, because it was the 3080 I got. Oh, if I fried that, I would have been. Well, I had to I could have just returned it that day, and they would have known the difference. But still, because it was Micro Center, and they were like, okay, fine. So yeah, it's not working. It's okay. Here's your. Well, if I returned it, I would have just got my money back because they wouldn't have had none in stock. So I would have been like asked out. So, but it worked out in the end. I got like a nice. I went from Intel to AMD. Apparently, I don't know if it's hype or not. Intel caught up with their 12 series. Apparently,
It's probably hype. Knowing that.
I don't know.
Because even though they probably caught up, but there's probably going to be 1,001 things wrong with it.
Well, they're not. Apparently, AMD is re-releasing their current stuff, right?
Mhm.
With better V cache, so faster L2, L3 cache, and they're developing the 6000s right now. So yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
yeah. So yeah, if they did catch up, Intel just has to enjoy it while they can. So.
Basically.
Mm.
But go on, get back to your dinner. Don't ignore your peoples. We will
All right,
see
man.
you for next recording session.
Just jumping in. Sorry guys, I wasn't in. Bye.
Good.
We'll punish you for it later. See ya.
Hey, you learned your daily lesson in electronics?
Yeah, I wonder how many people tuned into this episode expecting to get that.
I know, right?
Yeah, I'm not at work. I wasn't expecting to have to do anything like this.
So I blame you anyway. It's your fault
Yeah.
somehow.
Universal fail?
Universal fail.
Yeah.
Universal fail, and you can't keep your mouth shut about electronics.
That's not true. Ish. Shut up.
Surge. $200 and something worth of headphones.
Shut up. Nobody will ever spend that in real life.
See, you can't shut up about it.
All right. Ron, did you roll me that 100 side?
I did not roll you that 100 side, but I will now roll you that 100 side. And we are rolling 64 to start. Now, if somebody will put an N in front of that, this will be perfect.
Somebody's gonna put a P in front of that. For poop. You wake up and there's a nice big old bird poop stain on your sleeping mat.
Ah. God dang it. Okay, I don't want to play this out. So, where exactly is the poop stain?
So it's on the blanket,
Right.
basically right next to your face.
Okay. So, as I wake up and I come from under the cover and I go like this, I just kind of want her arm to just like that, and then bird poop right there. We're just gonna lean into this today. We're gonna lean into this joke a little bit.
All right. You wake up, yawn and stretch, and wipe the bird poop off of the sleeping mat and on up and down your arm and sleeve. But don't notice it yet. Seems like a nice day.
What a lovely morning. I'm gonna go ahead and just start
Top of the morning to you.
rolling up my stuff.
Okay. All right. Give me another 100 side. 'Cause we're doing this now. Yeah, we're doing this.
That one is a 44.
Okay, you dodged that bullet. Dodge that one for now.
Cool.
Pack up your sleeping attire and fold it up into your pack. And at this point, there's the occasional trader or worker going in and out of the front gate. You can hear commotion on the other side of the walls. It sounds like the rest of the town's awake at this point, and business is doing its usual thing.
Now, since I just rolled up my bed matting, did I notice the bird poop that was probably smeared into the cover?
Give me a 12 side on perception.
I almost rolled 6.
That would have been bad.
And that is a 4, so I'm assuming no.
Yeah, you didn't notice it.
Yeah. So, lovely. Trying to remember. How many days was I supposed to wait until I left the port?
Well, the captain hadn't exactly been too clear on that. He had suggested 1 or possibly 2, depending, I think, on...
Right, because they had, like, shifty stuff that was going on. They were, like, doing boat
you had some
inspection.
customs situation going on there with the dockmaster.
So I have to check in on that a little later. So to start my day... Yeah, we're doing this. We're going to go and visit the quarters. We're going to go to the barracks and go check in with Barrack real quick. We're doing
All right.
this. Yeah.
All right. You step inside the gatehouse, and it's a short walk down the street to the main barracks. Step inside, and to your surprise, Burke is actually not sitting at the little desk in the vestibule. That young kid who was scrolling there a couple days earlier is there, at least for the moment, and he kind of glances up at you. Oh, it's you again.
What was his name again? Matt? No.
Fred.
Fred. Gotcha. Oh, there, Fred. Aren't you a little hyperactive this morning?
I was, yeah, kinda. I may have slipped a little bit of ale. Don't tell anyone. What can I do for you?
You won't hear anything from me. So, have you seen Burke around?
Oh, yeah, the commander. He's, actually in a meeting with Lady Atana this morning. Won't be back for a couple hours, he said. I don't know what it's about.
Well then, might have to drop in on them.
I wouldn't do... Are you sure about that?
Oh, don't worry. It's something they'll both need to know anyway.
Oh, okay. Good luck. Don't die.
And with the arm that I had the bird poop on, I'll wave to him. Catch you later. And walk out the door. So, since he's meeting with Atana, I'm debating, do I want to go there right now? Yeah, I'll do it now. We'll do it now. Because I want to keep this joke going.
Bird poop on you?
Yes, I want this to happen with the bird poop.
All right. Where do you imagine they are?
They're either going to be meeting at the office that she's currently commandeered, or they're probably going to be somewhere in a dark alley. I'm going to go for her commandeered office over at that thing that would be a castle if it were actually the size of a castle.
The wannabe palace, yes. So you head up the street. It's not a long walk to the palace. Past the guards at the entrance to the courtyard. One of them nods at you. The other one just kind of sort of turns his head and watches as you walk by. Doesn't say anything, though. But he got a funny look on his face. You walk into the front door, and one of the guards gives you a sort of half-hearted salute as you walk in. Do you remember how to get to Lady Atana's office?
A little bit. I remember that it's like up the stairs. I don't remember which way once you get up the stairs. All
right. You head up the stairs and are presented with a labyrinth of corridors, and not entirely sure you remember which way to go. You just pick one at random and strike out. Wander around for a little bit. Give me a 12 side for, we'll call this intelligence.
9.
After a few minutes of wandering around and taking a couple of turns that make you think you might have gone in a circle, you do eventually manage to come to the doors that would like to have been ornate, but just weren't
ornate enough.
Yeah, and there are two guards standing outside, shields and spears sort of held at attention. You don't know either of them, but at least one of them seems to recognize you, and he just sort of gives you a small smile and a nod.
Is Burke also inside?
Burke and Lady Atana are inside at the moment. You have business with them?
I do.
He glances at his partner. The lady gave explicit instructions that they're not to be disturbed. Is this an urgent matter?
It is. Don't worry. I'll be quick.
And the guard just sort of holds up a hand. Wait here.
I don't think it is.
And he quietly opens the door and steps inside, closes the door partway behind him. You can hear some indistinct muttering cease as he enters the room.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
Roll me 100 side.
It is a 37.
Say again?
37.
37.
Yeah. After that 64, everything's been rolling lovely so far. Let's see how long that lasts.
Well, you beat my 48. After a moment, the guard comes back, and with a somewhat surprised look on his face, all right, they'll see you. Go on in, but first, and he holds out a hand for your weapons.
Oh, of course. And I will, start grabbing stuff with the hand with the poop on it.
And the guard you're handing stuff to doesn't immediately notice, but his compatriot goes, ugh. And he starts taking weapons. Let me see. You know what? We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Wow. Yeah. And you hand a couple of things to him, and finally when you hand him the battle axe, some of the bird poop has rubbed off as you were reaching behind to grab the handle and pull it out. And it rubs off on the handle and then onto his hand when you hand him the battle axe.
Yes!
And he takes it.
Is something wrong?
And he sort of holds the battle axe by two fingers daintily against the wall and reaches around and pulls a sort of handkerchief-looking thing out of his belt and hands this to you. He's like, you might want to use this. And he kind of points at your arm.
I'll actually look down. Oh dear, when did this happen? I am so sorry. No.
Just
Great. Now I have to check my blankets and everything else. Oh, hand him back the handkerchief. Thank you for that.
Yeah. You can go in now.
I will proceed to enter in. It's just that close to shaking it on his hand.
Oh, almost. No. Not quite. Oh, that would have been great, though.
That would have been hilarious.
So you walk into the room, and Atana is sort of standing over her desk, sort of leaning forward, and there is what appears to be a map on the surface of the desk, and a couple of little wooden figurines scattered around it. And Burke is standing on the opposite side of the desk from her, sort of loose attention, and they're both looking towards you at this point. Atana seems slightly annoyed at your intrusion. Burke seems thoroughly annoyed at your intrusion. And you're not more than 5 steps into the room when Burke says, "What's the meaning of this?"
I'll be over in Kish. I was able to procure a much quicker ride this time around, so I'll be heading out soon.
And Burke arches an eyebrow at this, looks over to Lady Atana, who's squints at you suspiciously for a moment, is like, and you had to interrupt our meeting. Why?
Well, Burke, from the conversation you and I had before, if you still wanted me to run that for you. Unless, of course, you got a guy who can get it done faster.
Burke turns back and says, I've already dispatched someone to Kish. I haven't yet dispatched someone to take up the mission to Murad in your place, but that will happen later today.
Didn't know. Well, if you need me, I'll be back in a week.
Very well. Safe travels.
Don't lie to them.
He turns around, and that seems to be the end of the conversation there. Neither one of them pays you any further attention.
A lot of poop.
And as I make my way out the door, I'll just start singing about getting some dragon scales.
You can't. So, actually, let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Do you, look behind you while you're doing this to see if you're getting a reaction, or are you just doing it for the hell of it?
For the hell of it.
So, you start singing your tune, and right as you're crossing the threshold, you feel, rather than see, Burke just kind of dig his nails into the desk to, avoid turning around to say, would you stop that? Get out of here. But you're through the threshold and the doors close behind you before, anything further can be said or done about it. And the guard, whose hand you smeared with poo, looks at you sideways and is like, that was it?
Well, there's a reason for my trip there. He wants to send somebody from Murad for it, but I don't think they'll get out faster than I'll get over to Kish to do this. But if he wants to still try.
That's not what I meant, but okay.
Yeah.
I was just, that was 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah, I told you to be quick.
All right. Could you maybe not smear me with poo next time?
Again, sorry about that. Didn't even know it was there.
Yeah, at least you didn't shake Lady Atana's hand with that. That would have been... I'd be mopping up what's left of you for a week.
That would have been hilarious.
I keep hearing this. Maybe one day I'll see it in person.
Your funeral.
I'm about to say, yep.
So, with that, I will head on out. Do I want to stop? Do I want to stop at the Boatmaster, or do I want to go to see Uncle Eric first to make sure we got a list of everything that I need to grab first, aside from the dragon scales? I want to make sure I get everything while I'm there, so Uncle Eric first.
All right. You make your way over to the Market District and to Uncle Eric's rickety old crooked shack. Smoke's already billowing from the chimney. You can see he's already hard at work even this early in the morning. That's nothing new. And as you walk into the sooty, smoky atmosphere, you can see him already pounding away on a hunk of what looks like iron billet or something on his anvil. He pauses in his strokes and wipes a brow when he sees you come in. What's up there, darling? Good morning to ya.
Morning. Looks like you got a much earlier start than usual. The smoke is much darker than it should be for this time of day.
Well, yeah, big orders to fill and whatnot. You know how it goes. What can I do for ya?
Hey, just wanted to make sure I had a list of everything that you need me to grab while I'm over there in Kish.
Oh, I told you, just the dragon scales is the only thing what I can't get here. 2 or 3 of them ought to be decent enough, they're about yay big.
All right, then. Now, then, on to other matters before I leave. I'll conjure you, no chasing skirts while I'm away.
Ah, you know me too well, darling, but I make no promises.
Hey,
When I seize me a good piece of leg, I can't resist.
Hey, I can't get in a bar fight with you if I'm not here now, can I?
I mean, that's true, but I've been having plenty of them without you. You've been missing out on quite a few. You'll just have to hurry back.
And with that, I'll actually just punch him in the shoulder.
That's right, me lassie. That's what I expect from you. All right, now go on, get your adventure done with. Give me those dragon scales. We'll make it a thing.
All right. And with that, now I'm gonna head to the boatmaster.
All right. The docks are a short way from the market district. Doesn't take very much time at all to cross over there. And already you can see the dockmaster is standing on the shoreline, barking at porters as they're loading and unloading ships. And as usual, as the last time you were there, he completely ignores you when you approach him. He's busy screaming at some poor young boy who looks like he couldn't be more than 12, who's trying to haul a barrel that's probably twice his size and weight.
Yeah, this looks like a regular day.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of just like doing my usual bit with him, I'm actually going to see if I can't spot the ship myself.
All right, give me a 12.
We got an 8.
So the ship is right where you remember it being, on the far side of the docks. Still has a bit of a list to it. Still looks as ratty and tattered as ever. Although you weren't really expecting it to look any different. But it's there.
Honestly, I was hoping that maybe I was just a bit drunk.
No, unfortunately not.
Nope. Definitely wasn't a fever dream. Definitely wasn't a drunken one. Definitely looks suspicious. Ronnie, what did you agree to? I'll start making my way towards the ship.
All right, you head over there, and the same group of scalawags and ruffians are populating the deck, filthy as ever, yet well dressed. At least some of them, well armed, well armored. And the captain seems to be lounging about in a sort of reclining chair or bench or something, right next to the gangway that leads onto the dock. And he gives you a bit of a sly smile as you approach. He says, "Ah, yeah, Ronnie, ain't it? I remember you, darling. Are you still fixing to sail with us?"
Of course. My question to you is, how's your customs check coming along?
Well, I'm happy to report that we passed with flying colors, just like I said we would, didn't I, boys? Oh, yeah, you did, Captain. We're just waiting for one or two of me crew to get back with some grub and some grog, and then we'll be ready to set sail.
All right, then. Before we continue this, hey, can I get that fist pump from you one more time, Boss Russ?
What?
He literally did that in the middle of your whole... And it doesn't help that he's actually dressed like a pirate right now.
Uh-huh.
I am from Rastafari.
And now he's ruined everything.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the game? Back to the game.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I just got some news.
Mm-hmm.
Got published in another magazine. Nice.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
Wait, you got published in a magazine?
Yes. Photos I took got published in the magazine.
You got published in a magazine?
They
It's my
must have been
second one.
truly desperate.
Whose dick did you suck?
I don't suck dick. I eat. You know what I mean?
Okay, so whose ass did you eat?
Don't worry about that.
We're gonna come back to this conversation later.
Just had to make sure it was nice and clean. That's all.
Yes, he verified that he does indeed, in fact, eat the booty like groceries.
And then this week you just had the shit eating grin like.
And it's literally a shit-eating grin.
So I think we're gonna call this episode the shit eating grin episode. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, Fail PG is brought to you in part by shit-eating grins.
You just need to put that. Look, I don't care what's gonna be the freaking. Forget everything else. Just put my face like this.
Oh yeah, that'll work. That'll do the trick.
He's like, something happening in this episode, and it's gonna wait like halfway through and be like, God damn it, why?
You know, you guys talk about this stuff, right? And I make little notes and file it away for later.
God,
Bring back to fight you guys.
Oh, don't worry. I more than expect you to.
You never know when.
Die.
You never know where.
I don't never need to know when or where. I just have the feeling when it's going to go down, and my body is ready.
Hear that, ladies and gentlemen? His body is ready. Let the ass-eating competition begin.
Damn it! He's already won. He's already won.
So I'm gonna buy my magazine, this magazine, tomorrow. No, Friday when I get paid.
Have fun with that. So back to the game. Back to the game.
Back to the game. You're just waiting.
Baby. You ready to go, sweetheart?
Ronnie's skin slightly crawls at the fact that this guy called him sweetheart the way that he just did. So she just kind of slowly turns her head and kind of forces a smile and goes, "Sure. What do you need me to do to help?"
Oh, don't you worry about that, love. You just get on board, make yourself comfortable. We'll be underway in a jiffy.
I feel like it's a trap.
Great. With that,
But don't forget, and he hands his hand out. You do remember our price we agreed on yesterday?
I'm actually trying to remember what we set the price for that was. I should have. What was that? What did we agree on? It was what was it? 15 gold? Was it 15? 15, right? Yeah.
Aye, lassie, that's what it was.
All right, here you go. 15 gold, just for you.
Takes the small handful of gold, picks one out, bites it, grins his sleazy grin, tucks that away in his coin purse. Welcome aboard the Dainty Prince.
And again, as she hears that name for the second time, a voice in the back of her head literally screams out in agony. But physically, she sells it and walks aboard.
All right. You step aboard the filthy vessel that looks like she's about to fall apart. The deck creaks as soon as you set foot on it, and the men who are standing on deck currently kind of leer at you. A couple of them aren't shy about ogling you, mentally undressing you. They're a real class act group, these guys.
Oh yeah.
But not one of them makes a move for you just yet. They all just sort of stand and look at you, grinning.
So with that, I'm going to just explore the ship for my own peace of mind to make sure that I don't feel like I'm riding in a death trap. Just.
All right. We'll start you off with a 12 side for perception.
That is a 7.
7. So you walk up and down the length of the ship. She's not real big. She's only about 30 feet long, only about 10 feet wide. Narrow, sleek, or at least she would have been at one point when she was new. Only 20 oars. Seems awfully small for a cargo ship. And there's no captain's cabin on the top deck like you expect to see on most cargo vessels. It looks like there's just the hold down below. But the back end of the ship is raised up somewhat, and there's a sort of cloth, a tattered cloth covering over the back end. And you can see the long oar that protrudes from the stern that is the rudder of the ship. going up to that sort of raised back end. You see crates all along the perimeter of the ship, filled with, tackle and rope and everything that you'd normally expect to see on board a ship. And although the hull looks terrible and the sails look kind of ragged and the whole thing lists a little bit, the tack and the ropes look new and well cared for. The rigging, the pulleys all look shiny and oiled and clean. There's a couple of hatchways, one in the fore and one in the aft, that lead to what could be a below-deck space, if you want to venture down in there.
I think I do.
Okay. Find a ladder and descend a couple of steps down. The below-deck space is squat. You have to hunch down to fit. It's probably only about 5 feet high.
So how big ass?
Roll me a 100 side to see if you hit your head on a crossbeam.
I was like, how big ass is she? Ain't gonna.
I mean, she's only 5'8". She's not that big.
Leg cramp. God.
That is a 10.
10. All right. You manage not to hit your head on any of the crossbeams as you're crawling through the belly of the ship.
And just so you know, when it landed on an angle and almost flipped over the 6, and then it just went back to 10.
All righty. Let's see. It's dimly lit. There aren't any lamps that are currently lit in the hold, but the deck boards above you are warped enough, and there are big enough gaps in between the planks that you can get some sunlight streaming through, and you can kind of see your surroundings a little bit. And boy, it looks like the hold is packed wall to wall, floor to ceiling, with crates and barrels, just loaded with these things. They're everywhere. It's actually difficult to find a path to walk through the belly of the ship. And here and there you can see what looks like a hammock or something strung up between support posts or crates. You kind of wonder to yourself where the crew sleeps, because it certainly doesn't look like there's enough space for them. But yeah, she's packing a lot of cargo for such a tiny ship. There's some water at the very bottom of the hold. It's only up to your toes. Doesn't look real deep. Doesn't look like it's getting any deeper. You can hear some rustling and squeaking behind the crates that suggest probably rats, but you don't see any of the little blighters.
Don't know how much further into this I want to explore, because the more I'm seeing this, so in Ronnie's head, she's seen stuff like this before, and usually it has to deal with black marketing people, and she knows that's a bunch she doesn't want to get too involved with. So,
on the other hand, where did Uncle Eric say you could get dragon scales?
True, but it's different to buy from them than it is to actually deal with them directly. So Ronnie's gonna head back up topside.
All right, you head back up top, and as soon as you climb out of the hold, you're greeted with this rather tall, very burly, very muscly gentleman with a scraggly black beard and stringy black hair, ear piercings and very extravagant earrings on both sides, just sort of grinning down at you. Hey there. See anything you like?
Considering I couldn't find any bedding, no. Where do you people sleep?
Oh, here and there. You'll find a place, it's alright.
Right then. You mind helping me up? And I will extend my hand out, not giving him the chance to do anything else.
Alright.
So mean, jeez, man. Trying to show you some love.
All right.
Hey,
Yeah.
not everybody's striker. Not everybody wants to wake up next to some strange big burly guy hugged up on them after getting drunk. Okay.
It was one time.
The big fella reaches down and clasps your extended arm and hauls you fully up out of the hold with just the one arm and sets you down on the deck.
Huh. Thanks. Haven't seen anybody do that since Uncle Eric. And
Sounds like somebody I'd like to meet.
probably not. He'd skin you. And with that, I'll just walk over to the captain.
And the sailor actually roars with laughter as you say that. All right, so the captain's still sitting in his comfy chair near the gangplank. All the accommodations to your satisfaction, love?
I guess I'll make do. Question. Exactly how fast is this thing gonna go when you're riding this heavy?
And he just kind of looks up at you and grins and gives you a wink.
I see. No need to ask any more then. And with that, I'm going to walk to the bow of the ship, where I am hoping there is nobody else.
At the bow of the ship, you mean?
Yes.
Well,
I mean, you could roll a perception to find a place where there isn't anybody, but lucky for you, yeah, there's nobody in your way between the gangway and the bow of the ship. You make it there unmolested. I mean, there's still, almost 24 sailors still sort of hanging around on the deck. But for the moment, all they're doing is occasionally eyeballing you.
So, I'm gonna, since I'm over here at the bow, I'm by myself, I'm gonna try to just put myself in a tight enough cornering space where I have my back up against the rail of the ship when I sit down. And also I can see if somebody's coming from either direction, but I don't necessarily want to be seen right away. I just want to tuck myself into just enough of a space where if they're going to come looking for me, they have to come looking for me.
You start to wedge yourself into the very bow of the ship, the very point where the railing comes together, and you've got the I forget the name of the mast. It's a small little mast that you see on sloops and such for the forward sail. And I want to say it's the sprit, but that's probably wrong. And as you're sort of wedging yourself down, you feel a bit of a draft from below. And you look down and you see that there's actually a hole in the deck planks right there at the front of the ship where you're sort of hunched down.
Oh, shit.
It's not real big, it's only about like yay. But
is it enough for a person to fall through or get stuck in?
You could maybe put your leg through it if you're not careful, but that's about it.
No, well, I'm sitting, so. How high up from the water is that hole, would you say?
We'll call it 8 or 10 feet.
Oh, that's enough to be fine. So yeah, we'll use that as a centering point then.
it's a sprit sail.
Sprit sail.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I wasn't too far off.
Yeah.
See, people, I can boat.
Hey, you're better than me. At least you know what it is. I was just going, yes. Once you start talking sales, I have no clue what you're talking about anymore. No,
That's
sorry,
as far as it's going to go. Like, I don't know anything about proper sailing, so.
So.
Now, as you are sort of making yourself comfortable, hunching in, a most curious sight passes in front of your eyes. You're watching the deck and eyeballing the crew who are eyeballing you back. But as you do that, you notice what looks like black smoke rising up just a little ways downriver, past the boat, past the docks. It gets progressively thicker and spreads wider, and it doesn't look like it's that far away, to be perfectly honest.
I'm going to slowly rise up, and I'm going to make my way towards the captain and ask if he sees what I see.
You make your way over to the captain, but you don't have to ask him if he sees what you see. He's already on his feet, and he's got a small telescope in his hands, and he is peering through it across the water at whatever this source of smoke is.
What are you seeing there?
Well, it's hard to tell, but that looks like a couple of boats be coming in with a little bit of the fire on their sails.
Fire?
And he glances over to one of the scrawnier members of his crew and cocks an eyebrow and sort of tilts his head. And without any word spoken, this guy turns and just starts almost running up the mast, like hand over leg, up to the top of the mast. And he just sort of reaches the top and hangs off the edge on one leg and hanging by one hand, and he pulls out his own small little spyglass. And he peers through it from up top. He says, "Hey, Captain! Yeah, we got some runners coming in!" And Captain kind of looks around. He's like, "All right, boys. Look sharp, just in case. Let's see what this is." And as you're sort of turning around, half the crew suddenly have weapons drawn and are heavily armed. But they're all just kind of standing around, watchful, waiting to see what's going on.
Okay. Because I'm not too sure how this is about to play out. And I want to say that Ronnie has probably heard rumors of stuff like this on her journeys before. So she is a bit cautious about it.
Mm-hmm.
She won't pull anything yet, but she is going to, at the very least, put her hand on her die dial.
Okay. All right. Hand on the die dial.
The die dial.
That's going to be the second fastest thing that she can pull in the fight. The fastest thing she could pull would probably be the hand axe.
Mm-hmm. All right. And so you're just getting ready, but not actually drawing any weapons yet, waiting to see what happens, yeah?
Yeah. Like I said, I don't want to jump the shark on this one.
All right. You prime yourself, and you and pretty much the whole crew, captain included, are sort of standing on the, I gotta think about this now. This would be the port side rail, looking out over the water, watching these smoke plumes resolve themselves into smoke trails, which are coming off of what looks like 3 large ships that are coming into view now. And although you don't have a spyglass, Ronnie, you're starting to make out that it looks like 1, maybe 2 of them are missing their masts altogether. The third one, it's leaning over at a frightening angle. And all 3 of the ships seem to be trailing some degree of smoke and are making a beeline for the harbor. And as you're starting to resolve this, you hear go off behind you. The sound of an alarm horn sounding from the top of a watchtower adjoining the harbor.
Okay. This is either really, really bad or really, really bad.
What's the difference?
Gee, that's a great assessment.
Right?
What's the difference?
I only did it for the joke. I had to. If you haven't noticed by now, this is going to be one of those episodes, people.
Yep, it really is.
Oh, so you're taking the place of of Striker's shenanigans because he's not in this one. So now you gotta beat him.
No, we're not going that far. That's a whole nother bag of worms that we
That's
ain't
a
getting
rabbit
into.
hole that nobody
Hey,
can
the
get out of.
night's young. You never know.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. You got a point.
So, you've heard the horn, and as you glance over your shoulder, you can see soldiers pouring out from side streets and alleyways and stuff onto the docks. They look a little bit confused, like nobody's really quite sure what's going on or why an alarm was called, but they're there now.
I'm just gonna walk over to. I guess that would be. You said we were looking over port, right?
Yeah, you're looking over the port side,
So-
and the dock itself is along the starboard side.
So yeah. So I'm gonna head over to starboard real quick. First of all, in that crowd of soldiers, is there anybody I recognize?
Give me a 12 side.
Easy Striker.
Damn, it's 4.
Yeah, there's too much pandemonium. You can't make out any distinct faces. Everybody's moving around too much.
All right. I'm just gonna randomly point at one and yell, "You!"
And this guy jumps a little bit and looks around for a moment, like, who called me?
Up here.
And,
Oh,
Three ships on fire coming down this way.
and you can see the guard go, oh shit, are they ours?
Can't make them out this far out.
And he turns around and, fire! Ships on fire coming in! Get the bucket brigade! Come on, boys! And you can see the soldiers just turn and like scatter. Some of them, like run over to a pile of crates and then just stand there like, wait a minute, what do I do? Some of them actually seem like they know what they're doing and are heading to like sources of water, getting barrels or buckets or whatever, and trying to fill them. Still more soldiers seem to be advancing on the docks. There's probably now 24 of them assembled there. Some of them helping to gather up fire extinguishing stuff. Others just sort of standing around, not sure what's going on.
Okay. This is it. Okay. I'm going to ask for a perception check for one reason and one reason only. Realizing how many people are showing up, I want to make sure one person is not there right now.
Okay.
I want to make sure Lim's not there.
Give me a 12.
Damn it, it's a 1.
You still can't tell. You can't identify anybody swarming around on the docks. There's too much motion.
I got too much good luck on 100 sides today. That's why the 12's failing me
have
now.
robbed it from you. Plus, we got Mr. Ross here, just passively absorbing all the luck with his what's the Arab headdress that the Arab women wear? A beak?
A beak.
I thought it was hijab.
A what?
Hijab.
Hijab, that's what it is. Hijab.
Hold on. Nah, I can't do that. That's too much.
No.
I almost took it too far, people. Never take it too far.
No.
Not
So
far
what's doing,
enough.
Ronnie? Those 3 ships are getting closer.
I'm gonna walk over to Captain since he still got his view extender. Hey, can you make out what type of ships those are?
And the captain gives a small smirk and says, well, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that looks like a couple of Uruk brigs.
We'll run over the side. You got Uruk brigs coming in!
And the soldier who shouted to everybody to get the fighting gear is like, what?
Your ships! 3 brigs!
Oh, shit! They're ours, boys, they're ours! And at this point, you can actually see a couple of small longboats, things that would be carried by larger vessels, being put out into the river. to meet up with the larger vessels, with small teams of soldiers in each of the longboats, manning the oars.
And one more time, we're gonna do this. Come on, don't fail me. I just need to make sure Lem's not here. It's the only thing I care about at this particular moment in time. And that is a 6.
You still can't spot anybody in particular that you recognize. Unfortunately, the downside of everybody wearing the same uniform is, from a distance, they all look the same.
Just try to look for the one guy with a limp.
Well, unfortunately, none of them seem to be limping, so if that's what you're looking for, you're not finding it.
Yeah.
The ships are almost to the harbor by this point, and now you're able to get a pretty good look at them. They are definitely, or were definitely, ships of war at one point. They're large, probably 60, 70 feet long, probably a good, 15 or 20 feet at the beam. Single-masted, but lots of oars. They look like they were, at one time, pretty heavily armed. But right now, they're all in really bad shape. Their crews are still scrambling to fight fires on various parts of the deck. The wood is splintered in some locations where it looks like they may have been rammed or received grazing attacks from heavy bolt throwers or something like that. And there are bodies strewn all over the decks, some of them moving, some of them not, most of them bloodied.
I'm going to look at the captain. Wait here a moment. Don't take off yet.
All right, love. We'll hang out for a bit, but don't get you any ideas.
Not. I just want to get information. If it's something that dangerous that did that to those 3 ships out there, we need to be careful when we move.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that too much, me love.
You say that, but...
Oh, come on now. Trust old Captain Nuriel. I ain't ever led my men before. Ever led my men wrong before.
I wouldn't know, but it still wouldn't help to be a little bit cautious.
Somebody's been drinking the sauce a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe that.
What do you mean a little bit? I'm pretty sure he's been drinking it like since last night.
You're not wrong.
So I'm gonna take a quick dash off of the ship and head towards these burning ships, see if there's like anybody alive at all up there.
I mean, obviously there are some people alive because the ships aren't on autopilot. There's people steering them into the docks, such as they are.
I mean, they could have been carried by the currents. Hard to say. But you since you said the one was leaning, I think I should have probably taken that as a hint. But anyway.
Yeah. So you make it over to the berths where these ships have pulled up, and they haven't done a great job of like a nice, precise parking job. No, it looks like they barreled in there as fast as they could to try and get people on board. You can see as you're approaching gangplanks being thrown over the side onto the docks, and soldiers rushing on and soldiers rushing off at the same time, basically, and bumping into each other in this like mad flail of bodies.
Okay. I'm going to try to grab one of the soldiers rushing off of one of the ships and just pull him aside and ask him straight up what just happened to you guys.
All right. Give me a strength check.
Well, this shouldn't be too bad. That's 12.
Yeah, definitely not. You grab one and
fails all the perceptions and passes the strength check with flying colors. Without the modifier being added right away.
Some poor guy is trying to run past you down the dock, and you just sort of grab him, spin him around, heft him up fully off of the ground, and then sit him down in front of you. And for a moment, he's a little bit stunned, like, what the hell just happened? I thought I was running that way. And then he looks up at you. What?
What happened out there?
We were attacked. Somebody tried to run the blockade. I don't know where they came from. It was a nightmare. They were all over us.
Blockade?
I gotta talk to the commander. I gotta talk to the commander.
Calm down. Look at me. What blockade?
The blockade? There's only one blockade. Why am I even talking to you? You're not an Uruk soldier. You're not the commander. I gotta talk to the commander.
Do you want to know where Commander Burke is?
Yes, you know where he is. Tell me. I've got to warn him about this.
Head over to Lady Atana's office.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, and whatever you do, don't interrupt their meeting.
He's already gone.
Well, I'm pretty sure he knows better.
I mean, yes.
All right, so he like takes off down towards the market district and heading presumably for the palace, leaving you on this this very busy dock with people running up and down. Some soldiers now are carrying buckets or barrels of water onto the ship to the various ships to try and put the fires out.
And one more time, just one more time.
Oh.
We're going to try to see if we can see Lem anywhere around us before I get back on the ship and take off. Hey. I just want to make sure he's doing the right thing and not being involved in any of this. That is a 7 this time.
Okay, 7 this time. You scan the crowd one more time, looking around for any familiar faces. You see briefly out of the corner of one eye Kurt running up one of the gangways onto a burning ship, one dock over from you. He's not paying you any attention, though, and he's got a bucket of water in each hand as he's running up the gangplank. Looking around some more at the various faces, doesn't immediately look like there's anybody you recognize, but then you spy a small-statured kid in Uruk armor running towards the docks. And another slightly taller figure running maybe not quite as energetically behind him.
I want to focus in on the one running not so energetic behind him. Kate.
Squint your eyes a little bit. It's still hard to tell because they're a little bit far away, but yeah, that looks like Lem. And he's maybe leaning on his spear a little bit as he's walking over to the docks, but he's still making his way there behind Cade at something between a walk and a trot.
I'm walking straight up to him.
As you walk up, Cade kind of passes by you and says, "Hi, Ronnie, bye, Ronnie!" And Lem sees you coming and turns to the left and starts trying to walk away.
I am going to immediately just grab him by the scruff of his armor and pull him back.
Where do you think you're going?
Yeah, exactly. Where do you think you're going?
Obviously, I'm going to see what the alarm horn was about, and now that I see there's 3 burning ships in the harbor, I'm going to help them.
In your condition.
Yeah,
you're no.
It's my job.
Yeah, you're no help to no one in your condition. Go rest.
With respect, Ronnie, I like you. I respect you as a fighter. You're not my boss. This is my job. I gotta be here. Now, would you leave off? If you're not gonna leave off, then help.
I'm going to look at him. I'm going to take the bucket out of his hand. And his spear.
Hey, I need that. I was leaning on it.
Yeah, that's my point. You're no good to anyone.
I was carrying the bucket well enough.
And I am going to walk over to the same ship that I just saw Kate speed over to.
Mm-hmm.
And as Kate comes down, I'm going to hand him the bucket and tell him to give me the empty one.
Okay.
And I will walk back over to Lem, hand him the bucket with all the force, and tell him, you're allowed to fill it.
Gee, thanks, Mom. He staggers over to the water side and, with a little bit of a grunt of effort, leans down to scoop up water and then hand you the refilled bucket.
I will take the bucket and just repeat the cycle.
You do this a couple of times, until Cade comes back with an empty bucket and kind of waves you off, handing him the refilled one. I think we got all of them on this one, boss.
Good. Do me a favor. Escort Lem back to the barracks.
Okay, boss. Oh, wait. I don't know if I should. There's still a lot of wounded up here. They could really use a hand.
Don't worry. I'll cover.
Oh, okay, if you say so. And he runs down the gangplank and down the docks and grabs Lem, who starts protesting furiously, and yet Cade still manages to like slowly drag him away from the docks.
So I'll continue helping where I can.
Okay, you the kid was right. I mean, the fire on the ship that you're on right now has been put out. It looks like they're starting to get the fires on the other two vessels under control, and doesn't look like they need any of your help over there. That does bring to mind now the rather large number of wounded and possibly dead scattered around the deck of the ship.
And am I carrying anything that can help the wounded? I am currently not. I think I spent my last one. Okay, cool. So can't be helpful there. So as I'm seeing like men help drag like wounded off, hey, if they can't fit in the healer's tents up outside of here, healer's hut that way. Madam Ursula, tell them I sent you.
And some of them acknowledge you, and some of them are too preoccupied. Others seem like they're almost in shock and don't hear anything, and they're just like following the motions of their comrades. But you can see after a while one or two wounded being carried off to the general direction of where the healer's hut you've used is. As you're watching one of those guys being carried down that way, you notice a tall, slender figure in a rather vibrant plum dress, rapidly bearing down on the docks, followed closely by a soldierly-looking person that you recognize, and a small contingent of other soldiers frantically trying to keep up with her.
Okay, so first of all, am I covered in any soot or anything?
I mean, you've got a little bit of blood on you from like the people carrying
That's natural.
Back and forth.
That's natural.
Soot, I suppose a little bit, yeah. Some of it got on the buckets you've been passing back and forth.
Okay, cool. So I look about as dirty as I can. Excellent. So, well, this is a nightmare.
Are you? What are you doing?
No, I'm literally just going to let them approach, and as soon as they get close, that's all I'm going to say to them is, "This is a nightmare."
All right. Well, Itana doesn't immediately seem to be heading straight for you. She just seems to be heading for the docks in general. But as her gaze sweeps across, she sees that you're there, and her eyes kind of lock in on you. And she strides up to you surprisingly quickly, considering she's in a dress. And as soon as she gets within reasonable speaking distance, sort of pushing people aside as she gets to you, she's, "What happened?"
Well, seems like your boy's running in a little bit of trouble at a barricade of some sort that they have there. Said that somebody tried to burrow their way through, attacked out of nowhere.
She looks around the situation a little bit. Are the ships still on fire?
Fires have been put out. Injured are still being carried off to whichever direction they can go. You got a lot of dead starting to pile up too.
Very well. And she turns to Burke. Summon all the healers in the city and bring them here now. And she turns to a handful of soldiers off to the side. You, and you, triage there now. And she turns back to you and points a finger right at you and says, "Bring me wounded." And as she steps away from you, she starts rolling up her sleeves and puts her hands on her hips expectantly. "What you waiting for? Get a moving."
I'm not gonna sell this, but I am curious to see why she wants a dead of all things. So I will go into one of the ships.
Wounded. Not dead, wounded.
Oh, sound like she said dead. Oh,
Her
sure.
accent's a little thick.
Always. But so just because of that, I'm actually gonna play off of this now.
Okay,
All
right.
You want a dead one?
They're wounded, not the dead.
Oh, sorry, your accent.
Get going!
All right, princess, I'm on it. Now go on the ship. I'll grab 2 guys because why not?
All right, I'm gonna make you give me a strength check for carrying 2 people down at once.
Not a problem. That is an 8 plus.
Good enough.
Yep, yeah. We already know I have the busted modifier out of everybody.
You grab 2 guys who look like they're in rough shape, but at least their guts aren't hanging out all over the deck, and sling one over your shoulder and kind of support the other one, and half walk them, half drag them down the gangplank and down the docks to the area that Lady Atana referred to as a triage, where soldiers are now laying out crates and boxes, anything flat that could be used as a temporary bed to lay people down on that just isn't on the ground. You can see that now people are starting to get a little bit more organized now that she's there and that Burke is there. And what was a sort of a madhouse is now starting to shape up into controlled chaos.
And I'll yell down or yell up at the captain. Hey, Captain! There's a blanket tied to the back of my backpack. Throw that down.
Which captain?
On the, what is that called? The whatever prince?
The Dainty Prince.
Dainty Prince.
Oh, you left your pack on the Dainty Prince. What were you thinking?
Actually, wait, did I ever take my stuff off?
I don't remember you saying that.
Oh, then I'm probably still wearing it then. Oh, well then never mind.
All
I'll
right.
just yell at one of the soldiers, hey, grab the blanket off my pack.
The sort of bewildered soldier looks for a moment and then kind of understands what you mean and fights with the straps for a moment, pulls the thing off your back, and lays it down on one of the crates. Unfortunately, it's only the one blanket. It only goes on the one crate.
Yeah, that's all I can do.
All right. You putting your 2 charges down on the crates there and going back for more?
Absolutely.
All righty. Lay them down, and none of the other healers seem to have shown up yet, but Lady Atana immediately starts bending over and inspecting the 2 that you've deposited there, along with others that are being brought to the same area as you turn and go back to the ship for some more. Make your way up, and there's more people in that kind of condition, and then there are some who are probably gasping their last gasp, waiting for somebody to come and do something with them.
So I'm going to start grabbing some of the ones that are more worse for wear here. Because they're going to be the ones that need more attention being brought down. I'll literally be carrying like 1 at a time, but...
Okay, all right. You grab the nearest one who looks like he's worse off than the others. There's actually a pretty substantial gash on him from shoulder to hip, and he's kind of clutching at his stomach as if trying to keep his insides from spilling out. Whether that's actually helping or not, you can't really tell, but you pick him up as gingerly as you can and carry him down to the triage area where Lady Atana is now kneeling in front of one of the crates and has her hand pressed against one of the sailors and seems to be muttering something as you set this guy down on a nearby crate. And for a moment, she pauses her work and glances over at the fellow you just brought and looks around, and then turns to one of the other soldiers who might be a lieutenant and says, "Separate the wounded! Worse injuries over there! Minor injuries over there!" And she gets up from the guy she was working on at that moment and heads over to the one that you just brought. "Good, bring me more!"
Aye, aye, princess. I'll just...
Okay.
I'll be right back. I need to go. My planet needs me.
All right. Well, I will take this opportunity to get a refill of my tea. And Mr. Ross, I'm sorry we haven't gotten to your star roll yet, but it's coming. Hang in there. We're not too far away.
I'm just here.
It'll be fun. We'll be right back with you. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
So I get to do this, right? So just know, everybody's going to die. Just know. No one will survive. No one. The world will come to an end. Not really. This is going to be fun. Just know. When my character comes up, Ronnie has no chance. Mwahaha. Mwahaha. Oh, hey, Mighty Mage. Mwahaha. I was just letting the people know that, when my character comes up, no one will survive,
Right. That's right. That will be the end.
That will be so the end. Probably not. I'll probably die. But, hey, that's the fun part of one-off characters.
You never know. You never know.
His planet doesn't need him that much. Oh, man.
Well, as I have said repeatedly, there's no plot armor in this game, so if you run into a spot of trouble, bite off more than you can chew, it's pretty much up to you to worm your way back out of it.
Yep.
Are we discussing that right now?
What, you talking about how Stryker always gets out of something somehow, some way?
Yeah, sure. If that's how you want to word it. I was just gonna word it to that. How do you say shit show of an episode?
Hey. Yeah.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
It's a fun episode.
It's a shit show. It's a shit show, ladies and gentlemen.
It's
fun. You're right. It was fun for me to watch. But let's be real. That was a shit show. Communication was bad. Decision making was bad. They stalled a lot, which put them in even worse situations.
Hey, I never said I was perfect, okay?
Yeah, you live, you learn.
And then you die.
You maybe die. All right, Ronnie. What you doing? Getting more? Getting more?
Getting more.
All right. Go up and scoop up another fella who looks like he was badly burned in one of those fires and is just sort of shivering on the deck. Half his clothes and half of one side of his body just charred looking.
I just look at him. It's gonna be all right, buddy. Just hang in there.
Scoop him up and bring him on down to the same triage area and lay him on another crate. And as you're turning back, you get a little bit better glimpse of Etana bent over the fellow that you brought down a moment before. And you can actually see her hands just sort of like sliding down his body, tracing the path of the gash and leaving red but bare skin in place of the ragged cut that was there before. And you can hear her sort of like softly murmuring under her breath, but you can't hear anything that she's saying over the din around you.
Well, I'll be. Didn't think I'd actually get to experience this so soon.
And she glances up to you as you're sort of standing there watching and cocks an eyebrow as if to say, "Why aren't you bringing me more wounded?" But doesn't actually speak to you.
Yeah. Instead of responding to her at all, I'm going to do the one thing that has never been done for Ronnie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to take off my tiger's pout. And I'm going to take it and tuck it under the guy who she's treating's head.
Okay. All right.
And like, it's not much, but at least it makes him a little bit more comfortable. And then I'm going to go and grab another one.
All right. As you're walking back up the gangplank, you hear a reedy voice shouting over the din. "Come on now, love. We're not going to stay here all day. The ship's ready to go."
Give me a few more minutes. I'll be there soon.
"Well, all right, but I ain't going to wait here too long, love. Don't be taking too much time."
And then, ignoring him, I'm just going to go back to doing what I'm doing.
All right, all right. You repeat this process a handful more times, picking guys who look like they're in really rough shape and bringing them down. And one by one, Etana moves from one to the next to the next. She isn't processing them as fast as you're bringing them to her, but she just keeps on plugging along. And after the third or fourth person, the rest of the healing contingent seems to start showing up. You can see Madame Ursula suddenly appears in your field of view. I mean, it's hard to miss her. She's a huge woman, and she takes up as much space as three others.
But she's such a lovely woman.
But she is, isn't she? Except right now, she's all business and no charm, and she is snapping out orders to all the other healers. You go there, fetch that, bring that, get that one over there, bring that one to the hut. She's all efficiency and business, and it's actually kind of impressive to behold.
Madame Ursula.
She pauses for a moment, looks over. Hello, darling. Sorry, can't chat.
I actually had a favor to ask. And I will rush up to her after I put down my next body. Hey, do you mind giving the princess a hand over there? Some pretty badly wounded over there.
She turns and looks, and she sees what you mean, but kind of gives you an oh well kind of look. I'm sorry, darling. I'm not a spell singer. There's little I can do for them.
And I'll put my hand on her shoulder. All right. Just do what you can.
And you the same, darling. It looks like you're doing well.
Yeah, unfortunately, my ride's getting antsy. I have to get ready to leave soon.
But every little bit helps.
Don't worry. I'll see you in a week.
All right. Try not to get killed on whatever adventure you're taking.
Don't worry. I'll bring back a few heads as trophies just for you. And with that, I'll wink at Mindy, who I'm sure is just running around in the background. and I'll say out loud, "Oh, it's Mitzi." That's what it was, Mitzi. I'll look at Mitzi and I'll go, "Catch you later, Mousy." And then,
it's not Mouse. My name's not Mouse.
like I said, you always be Mousy to me. And I'll run over, stop in. Sorry I can't stay longer to help, priestess, but when I return...
She pauses a moment in her work and wipes some sweat and blood from her brow and says, I understand. Thank you for your help.
Not a problem. And I'll look down at my tiger's pout and look back at her and just be like, just make sure that gets cleaned when I get back.
And she sort of arches an eyebrow at you and gets back to work. Doesn't say anything.
And with that, I will head on the ship.
Okay. You step on the gangplank and up to the Dainty Prince, and no sooner have your feet touched the deck that the gangplank has been hauled up from the docks, and the crew is alive in a frenzy of activity, unfurling the sails, manning the oars, pushing away from the docks. And the captain's at the stern of the ship under the awning, hand on the tiller, that sort of smarmy grin on his face, and glancing over your direction as you step onto the ship. Well, I took you long enough, love. You have fun playing in the bloodbath?
Not exactly. By the way, this blockade, are we heading towards it?
Aye, lassie, that we are.
Then you might want to make sure your boys are on high alert.
Ah, me darling, don't you worry none. I told you. I ain't never led me men wrong afore.
Right then.
We do this sort of thing all the time. Don't we, lads? Aye, Captain. Yeah! Yeah!
And with that, Ronnie will give like just a sly grin. All right then. Let's get this party on the road. And then she's going to walk back to her little spot, tuck in, pull out her battle axe, and begin to start cleaning her weapons.
Okay, all right. You settle in at the prow of the ship, and start merrily cleaning your weapons, all the while, occasionally glancing up at the crew who are going about their business on the ship, but are also occasionally glancing your way. Only about half the oars are in use at the moment, it looks like. But the sails filled full with a cool breeze coming across the water. And as soon as you guys make your way into about the middle of the river, you can actually feel the ship shudder a little bit as the current takes hold of it. And she leans into it and starts sailing down the river. And not more than half an hour passes before a fork appears in the river, heading northward. And a moment later, you see the nose of the ship start turning towards that fork, bound for the northern branch. And just beyond that, you can spy a little ways up that branch of the river some more small trails of smoke.
I'm gonna just kind of slowly peek my head upward to see exactly where those trails are coming from.
Give me a 12 side.
Gah. That's a 1. Apparently, I didn't peek my head up far enough.
Nope. You don't see anything. The river is a little twisty here, right at this branch point. And maybe that's why you can't see anything, but at the moment all you can see is very thin, wispy trails of smoke from further up this branch somewhere, drifting on the breeze.
No, just look up I'll look up at the nearest crew member and just call up to him. Hey, you! Where's that smoke coming from?
The fella who's big and brawny, but not the same guy who hauled you out of the cargo hold, glances over his shoulder at you and says, "Oh, that's probably from the blockade."
Coming from this far down? Are we that close already?
Oi, they ain't holed up too far upriver.
I see.
And he sort of gives you a lopsided grin. Don't worry, beautiful. Captain's never steered us wrong before.
All right, then. And I'll continue to go back to polishing and sharpening my weapons. I want to especially pay close attention to the blade on the hand axe. I feel like it needs to be just a bit sharper after the last couple encounters I've had with it. So,
you know what? I'm gonna say, give me a 12 side. We'll call this an intelligence check to see if you can hone the thing down with what's currently available to you.
And I, unlike Stryker, I at least have a +1 on my intelligence and not a negative. I mean, I'd settle for a 0, truthfully, but I got a +1 instead of a negative, so hey. I think am I the only person in the group with like all like plus stats?
Yes.
No. Huh.
Lucky bastard.
That is a 6 with the +1. That'll be a 7 overall.
Okay. You can tell that there are some nicks and gouges in the blade since your last encounter, and you spend some time with the whetstone going over that. Unfortunately, the whetstone isn't wet because the water line is about 8 feet below you. So you're sort of like dry sharpening the blade, which isn't going to do a great job, but it'll be better than nothing, you suppose.
I look down at the whetstone, look down at the blade. I'll look up, search for the captain, and go, "You got a bucket of water I can borrow real quick?"
Captain's all the way on the opposite side of the ship. Can't hear you from where you're at.
Okay. Who's the closest crew member that I see?
The same one you were talking to a minute ago. He's hauling on the rigging to keep the sail in trim.
Hey, is there a bucket of water nearby that I can borrow?
Oh! And he kind of glances around a little bit.
Back here.
Oh, yeah, it's you. No, don't think so. Might be one in the hold.
Thanks. I'll get up, walk over to the captain.
All right. Walk over to the captain, down the row of oarsmen. Give me a 100 side.
Ugh, 86.
Surprisingly enough, that's better than I rolled. You managed to get down the row of oarsmen unmolested up to the captain, who just gives you that sly smile of his. What can I do for you, love?
I need to borrow some water.
What, you want fresh water?
Doesn't matter.
Wasn't into the bargain, I don't think.
And I'll just flip the whetstone at him, like, just enough to make this baby work.
Oh, that water. Oh, yeah, we got some water we use for scrubbing the deck. There'll be a bucket of it down the hold. First hatch there.
Thanks. And then I will calmly walk back to where my stuff is sitting, gather my things up, and go down into the hole.
Now I'm gonna need you to roll 100 side to see if it's all still there.
11.
How many?
11.
Still didn't hear you. You're turned away from the mic.
11.
11. Okay. Ooh, that's good. You beat me again. Mercifully, all of your stuff is still there. Why you keep leaving things on a boat full of possibly black market smugglers is beyond me. But,
Yeah, right?
It didn't burn you this time.
This time. So, yeah, I'll collect my things and I'll head down into the hole and find this bucket.
You head down to the hole and look around a little bit. You don't see the bucket, but then again, you are standing in toe-deep water. So...
Just gonna dip it in the water. Don't even care. This point is like, whatever.
All right, your whetstone is now wet.
Now comes the question. Do I want to go back up topside? Or do I want to see if I can find a way where I can just hide myself amongst all their stuff and just do my thing? But I feel like if I do that, that might cause suspicion. So, you know, I'll head back up topside. What the hell?
All right.
I'll deal with the idiots glaring and undressing me with their eyes. Because the minute they try something, it's a whole different story.
You turn around and put a hand back on the ladder, and just as you do that, an arm just kind of flops down in front of you, followed shortly by a head going. One of the crew is sleeping on top of one of the crates in the hold, apparently, and just sort of slid off to the side, right in your path as you're going to go up the ladder. And his breath is almost enough to knock you on your ass. But doesn't seem to have awakened.
It's like 3-month-old haggis coming out of you. Okay. Where exactly is his arm, and where am I, and where's the ladder?
You got one hand on the ladder.
Okay.
The arm is kind of in the way of you getting the other hand on the ladder and climbing your way up. And it's just sort of limply hanging there. Like, he's clearly dead to the world.
Oh, well then screw it. I'm just gonna push his arm out of the way? Like, I was about to do a whole nother bit, because I thought, like, his arm was, like, literally blocking me from getting on the ladder, and I was gonna do a whole bit where I was gonna try to jump over it and get on the ladder. But if it's just hanging there and I'm already touching, like screw it, I'll just push it out of the way.
Yeah, all right. Push it out of the way. Let's see here. Yeah. And again, the dice are favoring you here. You push it aside. He doesn't stir.
Cool.
And you manage to make your way up the ladder.
Cool. I'm going to go right back in my little spot and continue to sharpen all my stuff.
All right. You get back up there and resume your sharpening. And you sharpen for maybe 10 or 15 minutes when the gangly fella who ran up the mast earlier, who seems to still be up there, shouts down to the deck, "Contacts ahead, Captain!" And the captain shouts back up, "Where away?" And the crow's nest guy, there's not actually a crow's nest up there. It's just this guy, like, hanging off the top of the mast. Leans back down, all nonchalant, like, "It's, 5 brigs out there, Captain. 2 of them ablaze. Looks like they're getting themselves under control and into formation." And the captain steps forward a little bit, hands off the tiller for a moment, and is looking through his spyglass, assessing the situation. He gives a slight grin, because he notices there's a gap in the array of ships off to the left. And he steps back to the tiller and strikes a bell nearby. "All hands on deck, lads! It's time to make our money!" And all of a sudden, you just see a whole bunch of bodies pour forth out of the hold from below. Some of them taking up positions at the oars, others girding up armor and weapons, others taking the sails or jumping onto the mast. Daggers in their teeth, looking like they're ready for a fun time.
Okay, so first of all, one thing I need to do. There's 2 items here that I currently do not have anymore, for sure. So, let's remove the blanket, because I left that behind.
Mm-hmm.
And let's remove the bear trap, because currently that is not in my inventory.
Mm-hmm.
So that leaves me with my canteen and my trapper's gear.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to walk up to the captain first, as soon as I gather up all my things, that is. Yeah, we're going to do that first, make sure we have everything on hand. Even though my backpack's about to be emptied anyway once I do this next bit. I'm going to walk up to the captain, and I'm going to ask him, what are we dealing with?
Oh, don't you worry about it, love. It's just a couple of Uruk brigs hoping to stop our travels.
Are you sure that's what this is?
Oh, aye, we passed them last week.
Right then. And then I'm going to reach into my bag, pull out the trapper's gear. You got somebody who knows how to make use of this.
Oh, we don't need that, love, don't you worry. We got this under control. Just you stay out of the way and it'll be fine.
And I'm going to raise my eyebrow. Who said anything about that?
I'm the captain. I said anything about that. And he gives you a sort of scalawag wink.
And I go, you're referring to this situation. I'm referring to trapper's gear. For your daily hunting uses.
Now, what would an old salty sea dog like us need for that, huh?
You never know when you might end up on an island.
Well, that ain't gonna happen today, love.
And I'm gonna literally take the trapper's gear and just toss it off to the side.
All right.
Yeah, I've been literally
to the side.
Yeah, I've been literally trying to get rid of that trapper's gear forever.
Okay.
Don't forget, I got the trapper's gear off a random roll going through some stuff. Remember, it was the one thing that I didn't need.
I don't remember that, but okay, I'll take your word. All right, so you're short some trapper's gear that nobody apparently needs.
I mean, Stryker could have probably used it, but you know.
Not right now.
He probably needs more than trapper's gear. He needs a fucking prayer.
Could be. Speaking of which, Mr. Ross, you're standing on the deck of your lovely brig, near the center of your formation of the blockade, and you spy, with your little eye, a rickety, jalopy-looking, pathetic sloop wannabe slowly making its way upriver towards you guys. You guys have had a little bit of a rough time the last hour and a half. You'd been surprised by a couple of ships from the north you hadn't expected to see. They were surprisingly effective with their surprise attack, and they crippled 3 of your ships, which had to go back home, and left 2 of yours with minor fires that they're still trying to put out. You're definitely at a reduced strength from your nominal, but it is just the one little sloop. What do you want to do?
And now it begins. So I woke up holding my trusty and very strong Triton. Yes. All right, men. Maybe that one lady over there. We have a dingy little ship coming. I know we've been having some trouble. And now, I know y'all might be tired. Some of y'all might be hungry. Well, hopefully this will be the last one, because I swear I'm ready to go home.
You hear a couple of muttered like, yeah, around the ship.
Hey, once we done with this, ale on me.
Hey!
And that's what I thought.
He knows how to motivate his crew.
Yeah, even when he's not Striker, somehow he's Striker.
What, I gotta bribe my people, man. I look at my crew and said, all right, you over there. Spot to see how many people are on that ship. Or what's so-called a ship.
All right, Captain. And the fella climbs up the ladder to the mid-mast and hangs out, looking up with his spyglass, eyeballing this thing. She's pretty small, Captain. Barely even call that a clipper. Crew maybe, I don't know, 20 or 30. They look like they're ready for us, though, Captain. I'm seeing an awful lot of shiny glints of, might be armor and weapons. I think they're going to try and run for it.
As I do my big old gaslight. For once, I just want somebody just to turn around and not fight. I'm pretty sure there's somebody on that boat that's really smart. But I feel like I wonder if Striker's on that boat. Oh, that idiot. Hey, you're not the only one that hates Striker sometimes. Okay?
Ronnie will remember. Wait. Ronnie will remember this.
Okay.
We're just gonna flash that across the screen. Oh, that means I actually have to do editing. Never mind. I take that back.
And then I'll be like, he was a good party animal that one time. He can drink somebody under the table. He might not wake up to the right person the next day, but he can drink somebody under the table.
Oh, wait, was this Captain the guy who woke up next?
Maybe.
That's beautiful.
All right, man, prepare. Let's get in formation. Hopefully, we can stop him and we can just go get drunk, wasted. Let's do this.
Aye, Captain! And your bosun turns to the adjacent ships. Take formations! And the other captains and crew start rousing up their cries, and you can see the ships kind of start to loosely come together into something resembling a wall. But Captain, you're noticing that the western side of the river, there's a pretty big gap where your three crippled ships would have been, but are missing. And it sure looks like the wannabe blockade runner is making a beeline for that gap in your line there.
I yell out to one of my crewmen, get on the gunship. I mean, the gunship. Get on the gunner just in case. And slowly start making the way, just in case they try to change direction in midway.
Aye, Captain! And you see a couple of folks getting up towards the bow of your ship and manning a heavy crossbow and loading up a harpoon round in it. And a couple of the other folks are sort of waving, flagging the other ships further along in the formation to start closing that gap, and they start gradually drifting in that direction.
And I look at it and say, hey, keep going, guys. And I look at the other ship. How close is the ship now?
Other ships, probably a good 100, 200 yards away from your formation, still closing. It's not going real fast. It's got a list to the side. It looks like the sails are kind of tattered and worn down looking. Doesn't look like she could make much speed going by you guys.
Do I have like because they had microphones, like the little horns back in the day when they used to yell out on, whatever.
Sure, yeah, I'll give you one of those.
All right. I go up to the thing and I'm like, if you want to live, turn around.
And there's a moment of silence, and then faintly you can hear a reply from the ship. I was about to say the same to you!
Ronnie interjects with the captain. What the hell are you doing?
He gives you another roguish grin. I know what I'm doing, love. Don't you worry none.
You do know we have to come back here, right?
Oh, I know, darling. I know.
I go. I'm like, did you just say what I think you said?
Come on now, you trapper. You got your trousers round your ankles.
Ronnie face palms immediately.
I asked the guy that's hanging out, I said, what does the other crew look like they're doing right now as this guy is saying this?
And the lookout kind of looks puzzled and looks down at you. He's like, Captain, they're all just kind of like hanging around in the rigging or on the mast and jeering at us. And some of them are making these really obscene gestures and doing these things with their hands. What does this mean?
I'm like,
wait, does he spot Ronnie face palming?
Yeah. There's one in the back. He's just kind of like, oh my God, what am I dealing with? Must be embarrassed about all this. I don't know. I would be too if I was on that boat. Seriously, what does this mean?
I look at him and say, are you a virgin?
No.
Sure. Once we're done, you won't be after this day. I go
at this
like,
point, the rickety old, I don't even know what to call it. It's like a garbage scow. I want to keep, my mind keeps coming to garbage scow. The rickety old garbage scow is less than 100 yards now off your formation. Still closing slowly, still heading for the western edge of the river, although the gap is started to be closed up by your ships now.
all right, so I'm gonna take the spyglass and look and see if I can recognize anybody on the boat.
All right, give me a 12 side for perception.
12, he said. I got a 7.
You are peering around. Let me see here again. Yeah, you're looking through the spyglass. You can clearly make out the faces and the gestures that some of the crew are making in your general direction.
What is this?
That knows what this is, but doesn't know what this is. Beautiful. At least he's a classy guy. At least he's classy.
So classy.
And you don't recognize anybody on the boat. Well, the guy at the tiller, vaguely familiar, but you can't put a name to the face. Feel like you've maybe seen it somewhere before, though.
And just to state this, at this point, Ronnie is so embarrassed by all this nonsense and doesn't know what to do. She just decided to go back to her spot. She is literally walking back over to her spot. And she's just gonna sit there with her arms crossed and wait to see how this plays out now.
All right. You still facing the crew, or are you facing the blockade?
Facing. At this point, because of how she's positioned, it's going to be partially looking at the crew and then sometimes taking a look at the blockade to see if things change.
All right.
So as this is going on, I'm looking. I was like, I go back to the horn and say, "Last warning. Turn around now, and you won't die."
And at this point, you can hear the jeers of the crew, even without the megaphones. But over top of those jeers, you can clearly hear the captain now. Hey, your mother was a hagfish, and your father smelled of elderberries, you blighter.
You shall not pass.
Look at this. He's a classy guy. Why can't Stryker be classy like this?
I told you I play characters different, but I mutter under my breath. Your mother was a wink ass motherfucker.
There it is.
All right, Captain. Well, they're now 50 yards.
Look at you. You can't even get rid of the accent now. You've been doing it so much.
Terrible. It's just taking hold now. They're 50 yards off the line of the blockade. Still haven't changed their course, and at this point, they're almost on a collision course with one of your other vessels, who's closed the gap now. And you can see that other vessel of yours is ready to go. They've got their harpoon loaded. They've got their archers on the side ready to cut loose. Flaming arrows are loaded. They're just waiting for your signal to do something.
I'll tell half of the flaming arrows to ready up and do it as a, should I call it a warning shot? Because I just want to end this real quickly and I just want to go on.
You sure you want to waste flaming arrows for a warning shot?
Oh, no, I'm going to hit the boat.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I'm going to hit the boat.
Not really a warning shot.
But it's not going to be like the whole thing. If I shoot the whole thing, you're pretty much done. Just like the other boats was on fire.
Oh, so you're just looking at like 5 of your guys going, fire off 5 arrows. Send them a bit of a warning.
Yep.
Oh. All right. So you're going to loose a handful of your archers on the other ship. You call out to them. They light their arrows, knock and draw. And Ronnie, if you're eyeballing the crew rather than the blockade, you're going to miss the knock and draw.
So can we do it this way?
Yeah.
I'll roll a 6-side. If it lands even, I'm staring at the blockade. If it rolls odds, I'm staring at the crew.
All right.
2, staring at the blockade.
Okay. You see the captain of one of the ships call out an order, and the ship that you guys look like you are on a collision course with, you can see a bunch of archers step up to the rail and lean down. And when they stand back up, you can see their arrow tips look like they're on fire. And you can see them fiddling with the bows.
So Ronnie, in reaction to this, eyes bug out completely. And she shoots up to her feet and goes, "Flame coming!"
And the captain, way at the back at the tiller, just grins and goes, "Now, boys!" and heaves the tiller hard over to the opposite side. At the same time, Ronnie, you hear a fluttering and a flapping over your head. And as you look up, suddenly, over top of the raggedy, shitty sails, nice, crisp, clean canvas suddenly pops out from a bunch of folds and flaps down over and pulled taut in an instant. And you can feel the deck lurch under you as these fresh new sails take the wind. And at the same moment, the deck heaves off to starboard and the ship pulls a sharp right turn. And the flaming arrows go into the drink off the ship's port side.
No question. Was I able to keep my balance? Because I know you.
Give me a dex roll.
Hence why I didn't waste all those arrows.
Smart.
Oh, man.
Smart.
11. Good save.
11? That's good enough for you. You managed to keep your feet, although it's a bit of a trick, and you have to hold on to the side rail to keep from pitching over the side. At how violently the ship turns and picks up speed. Captain, you notice this abrupt change and the fact that your warning shot has missed them by several yards. And the ship is now no longer on a collision course with the boat in front of you, but now looks like it's going to pass between your boat and the boat in front of you. And boy, she's picked up some speed. You don't know where she got it from, but she has picked up some speed.
I guess we're doing this. Ready? My bow.
Ready your bow, huh? Okay, alright.
I go up to the one in front of me, my ship.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the guy, I'm like, move.
Oh, yeah, alright. Yeah. Aye, Captain, it's all yours. Alright, you now have control of your harpoon launcher.
Hop one up. I was like, alright. And since it's pretty much like the one that was on the other ship that Striker was on, so.
Well, this one does not require two people to control it. This is fully manual. It's not as powerful or as heavy as the Air Lance. So you can aim it all on your own and fire it all on your own. But you do need help to load it.
Since I already knew they already loaded it and ready to go.
It is.
They better had, considering you told them to. I feel like there would be punishment in somebody's future if they didn't.
Oh, it would be. I start taking aim and start calculating when they're going to get to the right point where I need them to be. Do they see me doing this?
You can't tell.
Okay, so that's all I needed to know. I aim. Before I do that, I tell the other ship, be prepared to fire more. When I say fire, we're gonna try to get them to come towards me a little closer, so that way I can just nail them. So I tell them, ready, aim.
And they do.
I tell them, fire.
And an array of about a dozen flaming arrows arc overhead towards the marauding ship. At which point,
Now,
the captain...
I would like to interject before
Yes.
that happens. So as he's doing his whole bit with taking over his harpoon shooter and everything, Ronnie walks up to the captain to question him about this whole bit. Where the hell did you have that sitting? And why have we been sitting on that for so long?
Not now, love. I'll tell you later.
Later? We're in a bit of a spot if you hadn't noticed. You just pissed off a bunch of Uruk soldiers. And our blockade.
And he just kind of like puts a hand on your face and pushes you off to the side. Now, you just let me work. And at about that same moment is when the arrows get launched at your vessel.
As Ronnie is getting ready to grab him by his wrist for putting his fit hand in her face, which I'm sure felt very greasy in that particular moment.
Oh, yeah.
From what, I will not ask or question. She then instinctively just looks up and goes, well, fuck.
The captain, in contrast, just grins all the broader and goes, now, lads! And all of a sudden, the ship stops violently. And, Ronnie, I'm going to need you to roll me a 12 side,
Already
but
on it.
with disadvantage for dex save.
That is a 12 again.
Roll me
And
again.
I have to remember my dex is +2, so regardless of what I roll here, I have to keep that in mind. And the second one is a 7. So
Okay.
we're looking at a 9 overall.
You were prepared for the sudden stop, but miraculously, you managed not to fall flat on your face. You stagger a little bit with the extremely abrupt jolt but you manage to stay upright. The sails strain and snap, but the ship shudders and comes to what looks like a complete stop, and the hail of arrows that would have hit the sails and set the ship ablaze harmlessly in the water in front of the ship.
Any other surprises I need to be prepared for, Captain?
The captain just gives you a roguish grin and says, "Oh, I got me plenty." And he signals to the bow of the ship, and very quickly the men start hauling up a rope for the anchor that they just threw overboard to effect the sudden stop. Captain, what are you doing about all this nonsense?
I'm looking, I'm just like, what the hell is up with that ship? Started taking speed, and then a quick stop. Is they pulling up an anchor? What the?
And they've started moving again at quite their brisk pace, the same pace as before, and they are now almost to between your ship and the ship ahead of you.
Well, as they starting, I have a beeline for them. I feel like this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna do this. So
you know what the funny thing is? I know what I do in this situation. I'm just curious to see what he does in this situation now.
I am about to tell them. I'm gonna fire, but before I do that, I'm gonna tell the people guiding the ships mine to full steam it ahead. Even if we hit my other ship, I'm blocking that dang old little ship from going past me.
All right, you
ready to oars.
Oars ready! Heave! And they start hauling on the thing, and your ship starts to gradually pick up speed. She's a big ship, though, and it takes her a little while to accelerate. So you're getting there, but it's going to be a minute.
So while that's going on, I'll yell, "Fire again!"
Fire, Captain! You're not firing your harpoon yet, though?
Just a second.
Okay. All right. The archers start knocking the arrows and they draw, but then you hear a sound from the other side. Hold fire, friendly fire! You notice that they were starting to lead the target and point at you, because as fast as the Marauder is moving, they would have had to fire in your general direction in order to possibly hit the thing. Order, sir! Should we still fire?
No!
Again, I know what I do in this situation.
The ship's prow is now starting to cross the line between the bow of your ship and the stern of the ship in front of you.
Can I line them up on a perception check to see if they're like right there at my perfect view for that fire?
What are you aiming at?
The ship.
Are you aiming at the hull or at a person on the deck or what?
I'm aiming at the captain.
Ooh, brutal. I like it. Give me a 12 side.
He said something about my damn mother and father, you know. I got an 8.
8. Okay. You can see the captain clearly. It looks like you have a clear line of shot with the harpoon.
I'm just gonna fire and, you know, gonna see what's gonna happen.
All right. Give me a 20 side.
20 side. 20.
Well, I probably should have mentioned earlier that your attack modifier is a +6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that kind of helps in the situation.
Yeah, it does. I wish I knew that before I rolled.
What'd you roll?
I got a 5.
A 5, all right. So 11, not bad. Not good enough. You fire the harpoon, the whole thing shudders. The bolt whips forward, the rope following it behind, and it sails pretty much dead on towards the captain, who looks in your direction and just sort of casually steps one pace to the right, and the thing zooms over his shoulder and splashes into the water a couple of yards behind him. And
almost hit
you're
Ronnie.
close enough now that you can see he just gives you a roguish grin like, really? You thought that was going to work against me?
At this same moment, because Ronnie was still like on the ground,
Did almost hit Ronnie.
he's gonna look up at the captain and then look up at this guy and go, "Are you boys finished with your dick measuring contest yet?"
Oh, love, I ain't been started yet.
And then she's going to pull out her hand axe and cut the line.
Why, thank you, love. That was awful nice of you.
And then she's going to take her hand axe and point it just directly at the captain and go, "Don't push it."
At her captain or the opposing captain?
Her captain.
Okay.
"Don't push it." And then looks up at the other guy and just gives him a look and goes, "Can you not encourage him?"
I gotta ask, at this point in the program, is Ronnie disappointed that the Ura captain missed, or glad that he missed?
Yes.
Well, you, as you're looking up and telling him not to encourage your possibly batshit crazy captain, you lock eyes for a brief moment. And there's this momentary exchange where you, like, understand each other. That you both hate Stryker. You're not sure why, but you just have this feeling that you get that other person and you're pretty sure that they would hate Stryker.
And as I'm still sitting here with my axe at the captain, I just go, "God, I hate Stryker."
As I'm furious of missing the captain and looking at her, pointing at him like, "I hate that captain, but you know who I hate more? I hate Stryker." We just nod at each other like,
Yeah. And then I will stow my hand axe away because I'm not trying to rile the crew up more. I've already had a long day. it's just getting longer.
this is what I meant to ask. Did I have any other thing on the ship as far as like a weapon?
Well, your harpoon needs to be reloaded.
Yeah.
The crew are working on that now. You've got the archers on your ship as well as the archers on the ship ahead of you, but if you try to fire at the Marauder, you're just as likely to hit each other with the crossfire. You're picking up speed. There's a possibility you might be able to ram them before they get clear of the gap between you guys. Right now, they're crossing your T, so their mid-beam is right in line with your nose.
Full speed ahead.
Full ahead! And the drum beat, keeping the rowers in rhythm, starts to pick up to a frantic beat. And the rowers are...
While that's going on, and I'm pretty sure they almost finished loading, I'm going to start turning my bow gunner just to make sure, so that if they do pass me...
Hold still, Captain. It's hard to load this thing while you're turning it like that.
Hurry up!
I'm hurrying.
They shall not pass.
While he's yelling all that, Ronnie's just going to look back at her captain and just look at him and go, "Is there a reason why you're agitating them?"
Aye, there is. It's bloody hilarious.
And then she immediately facepalms and just walks back towards her spot in the bow of the ship at this point. She's had it up to here. She's done with all this nonsense. She mentally does not think she can handle anymore before she has a psychotic break and pulls out her battle axe and just starts swinging on everyone.
But it's
Part
not
of the
over
plan.
yet. She starts walking forward by the rowers, who are rowing, but they don't seem to be like putting in the same frantic effort that the guys on the brig are putting in. And at about the halfway point, the captain shouts, "All right, lads, pick her up!" And at At that point, the drumbeat on your ship, the Marauder ship, picks up to the frantic frenzy, and the rowers begin frantically heaving away with gusto. And actually, one of the sailors who is not rowing grabs you by the shoulder and just says, "Wait, stay here a moment. We can't have too much weight on the bow."
What are you talking about?
And as the ship shakes and shudders under the added stress of the rowers doing their rowing, you have this weird sensation of the ship leaning backward just a little bit.
Ronnie then begins to face the bow and slightly cock her head to the side.
It sure looks like the bow is lifting a couple of feet.
As that's going on, I'm doing this too.
Now my question is there any of the other captains on his other ships doing the same now?
Pretty much all of the crew on the other ships are just kind of watching this thing going, what the hell?
Like, lads, if he makes it past us, he deserves to make it past us. What? We're still gonna try.
Well, Captain, your harpoon is just about loaded.
I'm just sitting there like, just wanted to go home. Just wanted a nice drink. I get the other chick that's on there. I get her. Something about her. We here. We here. But everybody else on that ship is a piece of garbage. I'm sorry, lass.
Aww.
And I ready my aim.
Alright. What you aiming at now?
I am actually... Is the sail still down?
Sail's still down.
Yeah. From when they did the hard stop.
Oh yeah, the Marauder sail. I mean, it's still full and billowing.
I'm gonna tell one of the crewmen, light it up.
Aye, Captain! And he seems to snap out of his reverie from watching this strange sight, and turns down to the archers on your deck. Load it up! Loose! And
By the way, I like the G reference, by the way. For the Earth! Light it up.
Light it up.
And your men and the men on the ship ahead of you all light their arrows, turn, lead their target, and loose. And this time, Mr. Stryker, I'm going to have you roll 20 side.
20 side. $16.
Ooh.
Well, I don't know if you'll be able to see that.
I can see that fail.
Is that a 1?
That is a
Critical
1.
fail.
Oh.
You launch your arrows, and it's a volley of like, well, I don't know. I gotta think about this now. It's like 20 or 30, probably closer to 30 arrows, flaming arrows, all heading for the ship. It's in close proximity. The aim is not difficult, and you can see one by one as they just perforate this magnificent, fresh, clean sail, and set it ablaze very quickly. Unfortunately, the ship is still close enough to both of yours that you're also still in line with each other, and a handful of those arrows land on your own ships and start small fires there. One arrow actually lands a little bit concerningly close to your foot, Captain.
I tell the crewman that's next to me, stomp it out, hurry up, go.
Put out the fires! And you see some of your crewmen dashing over to the places where the arrows caught and are frantically trying to pat the fires out. Ronnie, you see this hail of arrows coming your way, and it's very clear that this time they're not going to miss. What are you doing?
Okay, so first of all, when the guy stopped me when I was heading towards the bow, how far was I from the mast?
You're almost right at the mast.
I am going to take 3 steps back.
Alright, you take a few steps back, and it's good that you do, because a moment later the hailstorm of arrows impacts the sail, and seems to set the canvas ablaze. And except it doesn't burn that quickly, or that long. In fact, it seems to sputter out in most places pretty fast.
And I look directly at the crew hand who stopped me and I go, "What's up with your sails? What are they made of? Or what are they coated with?"
We doused them with a little bit of water before we put them up there. Had a feeling we'd be facing some flaming arrows. And at that moment, you also hear the captain in the back, "Loose the canvas!" And a couple of the deckhands just let go of the ropes, and you hear as the ropes are pulled through the pulleys, and the Swiss cheese canvas, which is now burning in a couple of places, just gently floats off of the mast and begins drifting down into the water. You feel the ship kind of groan and ease back down into the water as she slows down a little bit, but you're still going and you're not on fire.
This goddamn ship.
This goddamn sleazy captain and his ship. I'm actually impressed.
I still got my thing ready. I was like, since they started slowing down some, I said, all right, cool. Maybe I can at least. And I think there's a rope attached to my arrow, right?
Yeah, it's a harpoon, so you can nail them and secure them if you want.
That's what I'm going to do.
All right, give me a 20 side, sir. And you're aiming for the hull this time, I assume?
Yes, I am.
Now, quick question about, I know his ship has it, but does any of his other ships have it?
They all do, but only on the bow. So right now, his ship is the only one that it's currently in range.
I see.
And I got 13.
A 13, you say?
Yep.
That hits. The thing rocks backward, and the bolt sails forward, and Ronnie, you hear a splintering crack as the thing thuds into the hull in the aft of the ship, and you can actually see the bolt head plow through the deck. It actually went through the railing, through the top deck, and sank in right about there. And suddenly there's a lurch to the side as the
Quarter star.
the cord goes taut.
Port or starboard?
Starboard side.
Okay. So, I'm assuming that was closer to the bow.
To the stern, actually.
Really?
So not too far from where the captain's tilling.
Okay.
And the ship shudders a little bit and starts to veer to starboard as the line goes taut. And Mr. Ross, your ship begins to get pulled slightly to starboard as well by the harpoon line, but they have almost come to a dead stop relative to you. You seem to have got them.
I want to see where this is going.
Well, you know what? We're going to find out on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Come on.
Pecking order, maggot!
I was ready.
I know. But I got work in the morning, so we're going to have to call it here for tonight, gentlemen.
Yeah, me too.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I certainly hope that you've enjoyed this weird and wacky episode of Fail PG. We'll certainly be bringing you more weirdness and wackiness on the next time. So, stay sharp, stay cool, don't be like Stryker.
Don't be like Stryker.
Fuck Stryker.
Always be Stryker.
Fuck Stryker.
This to Stryker.
Yes, this to Stryker. Yes, that.
Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, we actually had a clean finish for once. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.